right, welcome to my pregnancy and IVF journey. We're on a different platform today. This is exciting. Although this video does end with a tragic ending, this is not going to be a sad video. This is going to be a happy video. It's going to be an informative video. I wanted to do this because so many women have reached out to me and just said, oh my gosh, I was thinking about doing IVF and seeing your stories scared the shit out of me, and now I'm thinking maybe I don't want to do it. And no. I don't want anyone to feel that way. Science is absolutely incredible. That's how I feel about our IVF journey. I'll be honest with you, we'll touch on this later, but I would much rather have answers and get tested and be monitored and do all these things and have a plan in place than continue to try naturally month after month after month and get negative tests and be heartbroken. IVF is way better than that. So let's do it. Let's just dive right in. I'm going to start at the very beginning. Sean, my sweet, precious angel, amazing husband, and I got married in January of 2023, and we pretty immediately were like, okay, let's start talking about planning for a family. We want to have children. Fun fact, when I first met Sean, he was like, I don't even know if I want to have kids. But, you know, after being with me for a few years, he was like, I still don't want to just have any kids. I want to have your kids. I think we would be amazing parents together. We decided we wanted to grow our family. I had been on birth control for years and years, so I stopped birth control, and then we started trying naturally. And who knows if that is a part of why we're having struggles. I know there's so many conspiracies out there, but yeah, the train is going by as it does every time I go to make a video. I'll admit, when we started trying for a family, I did have some fear in the back of my mind because I do have PCOS, and I've known that for a very long time. Back in 2015, 2016, I was diagnosed, and at that time, my symptoms manifested as horrible cystic acne. I literally had pimples, like deep cystic acne on every pore of my face. I would go to take a shower and just washing my face hurt so bad I would cry. Male pattern balding, I was losing my hair in clumps, my hairline was receding, and that is why I was on birth control. My doctor told me that that was the only way to keep my symptoms at bay, and they weren't wrong. I definitely felt 1,000 times better when I went on birth control. My hair grew back in normal, my skin cleared up. So for that, I'm thankful. But in my current situation, I'm seeing PCOS as mainly irregular cycles. So as soon as I went off birth control and we decided to start for a family, my doctor actually said, your best bet for getting pregnant is probably gonna be right in those first few months, because birth control is still kind of like in your system. Your cycles are still fairly regular. The further you go, the harder it might get. And they were right. A few months after we started trying, we got pregnant, and I was literally over the moon, y'all. Obviously, we know this ends in a miscarriage, but that does not take away how special this was. So I'm gonna tell that story because I feel like it needs to be told. I mean, it's not a secret. So it was our 1-year wedding anniversary, and we were about to go out to eat, and something just told me I was pregnant. I was like, wait a second, my period is late, and I do feel kind of weird. I don't know, I'm gonna pee on a stick. We were walking out the door to go to dinner, fully dressed up, everything. And I peed on a stick, and I see 2 lines, and I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna tell Sean? I don't wanna tell him right now. I don't wanna tell him at dinner in front of a bunch of people at a restaurant. So I didn't say anything at all. I literally sat through dinner. During our dinner, Sean was talking about like how lucky we are and how much he loves our relationship and how he can't wait to be a dad one day. And I'm sitting there shitting my pants like, oh my God, he has no idea I'm pregnant. Took a bunch more tests like while he was sleeping just to be sure. Woke up the next morning, took another test. He went to the garage to work on cars with his brother, and I ran to Walgreens, took a digital test because I wanted it to say pregnant so bad. I'm like, I want to see the word. And I was, so I went to Walmart or something, and I got a little onesie, and I made a little poem, and I decided to surprise Sean as our 1-year wedding anniversary gift and filmed him opening it. And I'm actually going to show that footage now because it is so sweet. And even though it didn't end up in a baby, I still got to experience this amazing day.
Happy 1-year anniversary. It's a poem.
Sean and Lauren kissing in a tree. Kissing. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes
My heart is literally been pounding for an hour. That's the 5th test I took, by the way.
Really?
I got a puppy seat in here.
I'm so happy. It's so amazing.
We have a baby coming.
Yes!
No, you want to know when I found out?
Yeah.
Last night before dinner.
What?
I swear to God.
What?
That's why I didn't sleep last night. What do we do now? Go tell our families?
Yeah, we gotta call
Should we
him.
run over there right now?
Yeah.
Let's run over there.
The reason why I can watch that video without getting upset is because I did get to experience that day. So many people dream of surprising their husband that they're pregnant. I did get to do that, and my husband is literally the sweetest thing in the whole world. So I have that video to cherish and that memory to cherish forever, even though it didn't work out the way we wanted it to. So I still look at it as a positive. We did tell our family, so immediately that very day we drove to my mother-in-law's house, my mom's house, my siblings' house. We told them immediately. Unfortunately, 4 or 5 days later, I can't remember exactly, it was my first real rehearsal with Damsel, the burlesque show that I was starting. And on the way to rehearsal, I felt very intense cramping and I knew something was wrong. My castmates don't actually even know this, I don't think, but the reason I only signed a 2-month contract with Damsel is because I was pregnant. The reason I ended up staying an entire 6 months is because I lost the baby, and I just thought, well, I'll just continue to try while I'm doing this. Hindsight, I'm very glad I experienced 6 months of Damsel. That was a really fun job. And maybe, maybe that's, I hate to say there's a reason for everything because it's so annoying, but maybe that's why it happened. I really don't know. At that rehearsal, I got through rehearsal while cramping terribly, and I wanted to cry the entire time. But I kept it to myself. I kept working, dancing, went home, took a pregnancy test, and instead of the lines getting darker, the lines were getting lighter. And I figured I was losing my baby, went to the doctor, tested my HCG. I was in fact losing the baby, and I just ended up having like a heavy period. For me, the most devastating thing about that was that I had a few very, very close friends that just found out that they were pregnant. So I was very excited to have a baby that was just a few months different in age from them. The entire rest of the time that we were trying, I had 8 or 9 more friends get pregnant that I was like, oh my gosh, our babies are gonna be the same age. Can't plan life that way. You just can't. So moving on, why we decided to do IVF. Well, trying naturally was actually fun until it wasn't. Sean is such a great sport. If you have done the whole ovulation strip, tracking your cycle, you already know it can be a little much. And we laughed through it. We actually had so much fun. I mean, I'm like, we gotta have sex today. Come home. It became frustrating because as my PCOS continued to, get worse the longer I had been off birth control, my cycles got weirder and weirder. I didn't know if it was gonna be a 28-day cycle or a 48-day cycle. And when you do those ovulation strips, trying to find your window, with PCOS, your LH is kind of always surging. So it was very hard for me to pinpoint when the hell I was ovulating. So after a while, I'm 36 years old. I need some answers. I'm like, what is going on? Some best friends of ours just had a beautiful baby through IVF with similar story with ACRM. So they just said, look, have a call, hear them out, and see if this is something that you'd want to do. I mean, even just as far as getting tested for anything else you have going on, at least you'll have some answers. So we did, and it basically came down to, look, you have PCOS, your hormones are all over the place, you're 36 years old. If you have the money and this is something you want to do, not only will this be like a plan, but you can also genetically test your embryos, both for chromosome abnormalities and also for the BRCA gene, which runs on both my and Sean's side of the family. We decided, let's do it. And I'll say this, when you start the process and they're testing your progesterone and they're testing your estrogen and they're looking at the shape of your uterus and they're making sure that your fallopian tubes are good, and you have all these tests and you have a plan and you have a protocol, I felt so much peace. I loved getting answers and I loved knowing that there was a plan versus just blindly continuing to try and try and try. I mean, I could have tried for another 3 years and nothing would have happened. I would have had no idea what's going on with my body. So I will say I'm so glad we started this process. We'll talk about this later. I have frozen embryos and I still have a plan. Even though I lost my baby at 11 weeks, I still feel a sense of peace knowing that I have a plan. I'm just gonna fast forward to egg retrieval time, IVF, because that's the exciting part. We were going to New York City with my in-laws and we hadn't told them that we were doing IVF, so we had to let them know because that was the first day I was starting my injections. Just landed that way with my cycle and we had to bring the shots through TSA and explain, and I had to do these shots before dinner every night, so we ended up having to tell them. But I look back and it's so funny. This is why I'm sharing this now, because there was a part of me that hated posting my New York trip and my cute outfits and blah 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 and not being like, hey, I'm doing these injections right now, I'm super bloated, I'm super hormonal. Like, no one had any idea, not even my best friends knew what I was going through. So Sean does my injections every day for a couple weeks, however long it was. I swell up like a freaking balloon. I look 5 months pregnant. I am hobbling around because my uterus is so heavy. And throughout the process, they do check you via ultrasound to see how your eggs are looking. And every time I went in, they were counting them and I thought, holy shit, there's so many eggs in there. I knew I had a lot of eggs. I go down for my egg retrieval. I wake up, they tell you how many eggs they got. 65. They retrieved 65 eggs from me in one retrieval. That is such a PCOS thing, because when you have PCOS, I guess you release more eggs each cycle, whatever. It worked and we were thrilled. So after that, they continue to update you, and a week later, they let you know how many of them fertilized and survived through the week and that were actually good enough to test. And we went from 65 down to 18. So that's a big jump. From that 18, they genetically tested them. 8 of them were either Down syndrome or Turner syndrome, which left us with 10 embryos from 65. With those 10 embryos, we decided to get them tested for the BRCA gene. I don't have it, but Sean does. As you know, my little sister has stage 4 breast cancer. She has it. My dad died of cancer, he had it. So it is a scary thing. Essentially, after getting those results back, we were left with 4 embryos that we were comfortable transferring. So you gotta think, from 65 eggs to 4 embryos. Thank God we did this, because I'm telling you, would I have tried for 3 years and continued to miscarry or not get pregnant? Like, I just can't imagine. Good news was the quality of these embryos was fantastic. We, chose the highest quality embryo that we had to transfer. A 75% chance of live birth using this embryo.
Yeah. Okay, so if I say it, then what the fuck are you talking about?
Let's talk about transfer day, because it is one of the most magical days of my life. It was so beautiful. I know a lot of you are scared to do IVF because you're like, oh, I don't want to conceive in this sterile, scary scientific room. No, it was so incredible. So they wheel in your embryo under a microscope in this very movie-esque looking thing. I'll attach pictures. And they show you the embryo on a screen and it's wiggling around. You can actually see the, baby, I don't know, hatching out of the egg, because in our case, he was 5 days hatched. So he's like coming out. They're like, that's him. Like, we're about to put him inside you. And you get to watch on a screen the embryo traveling through a tube and like drop into your uterus. And you're like, I'm pregnant right now. It is so cool. We bawled our eyes out. We just had the best day. We were like on cloud 9. 10 days later, they call you with the results to let you know if he attached and if you are in fact pregnant. And I'm gonna attach that footage here because, again, I still love and cherish these videos and these memories that we made. It happened, so we might as well enjoy it.
Great news, you are pregnant. That looks amazing. Your beta HCG is 542, and we are happy with anything 50 or greater.
Thank you for everything.
You're so welcome. Saturday morning at 7:30. You have refills on the
Best Christmas gift ever. Positive line is literally darker than the control line. Prayed for this. The shit we went through to get this baby. Oh, and just hope everything works out. My next fear is losing it. Okay.
Get in here.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's so great.
542.
What is that?
42.
Oh, baby. I can breathe.
Come on, you're lying.
Oh my god. It's exciting. Exciting. Good work.
All my hard work.
Oh.
Finally. I told you digging in. Come on.
Baby.
It's the beginning. They showed up. I didn't even have to wait or anything. I got real on it.
Excited to have a baby. I love you. Working out, baby. Far out.
Now what? What do we do?
And then you move on to the most anxious few weeks of your life. Can we talk about cramping? Because immediately the day they transferred this baby into my uterus, I was cramping for the next 11 weeks. I'm talking very similar to period cramps, and no one tells you that that is a symptom, but it drove me absolutely insane to the point where I was cramping so bad one night before we went out of town to be a part of a wedding in Savannah that I called my doctor in tears and was like, I need to come in and see this baby and make sure that he's okay, because I can't go enjoy a wedding with this amount of cramping. Something is wrong. So at 6 weeks, they allowed me to come in, a little IVF perk. They kind of treat you like a princess when you do IVF. I was able to go in and see the baby, fetal pole, perfect yolk sac, and a little heart flutter, and have the peace of mind that he was perfect. At 6 weeks, we did decide to tell our close friends and family. It's always been my dream to surprise my family on Christmas with a baby, and I'm gonna include that footage in here for the same reason that these memories happened. I did ultimately get my dream, and it was such a beautiful day and a beautiful memory that I'll never forget. And the footage is so sweet, it deserves to be seen. So I'm just gonna attach it all here, and I hope you guys watch it and it makes you happy.
Pack your bags and get ready for fun. Water slides, waves, and sun in your buns. We're taking you to our favorite place. A 4-day trip to 30A. Funky swim. So you can match your weird uncle and aunt. Watercolor Inn has so much in store. But that's not it. Wait, there's more? Beachfront room.
Circle, that's our room right on the beach. You walk out to the beach on the first floor.
Funky swim.
Yes!
Oh, how cute.
Me and Sean have the matching bathing suits to them,
That
so
looks
we're all gonna
perfect.
match.
Can you guess what it is? Do you have a clue? Ask Uncle Sean for envelope 2.
Oh, there's a part 2.
The reason we're taking our 2 little elves. This is the last chance you have us all to yourself. The next surprise rhymes with a dozen. Can you guess what it is? You're getting...
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! No way! What? No way! You know, baby! How long have you known? August! Oh my god!
Wait, there's more.
There's more! There's more!
What do you mean?
There's more! It's a gift you can return.
Oh, you already know you're lying!
Hey, everyone, shut up. Everyone, shut up.
But wait, there's more. This isn't a gift you can return to sender. Grab envelope 3 to find out the gender.
Find out the gender. How would you know?
How do you know? Oh my god.
I hope you're ready to share your toys because this August we're having a. Are you ready? Our family will never be the same. Open envelope 4 to find out his name.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm gonna faint.
Don't worry, you'll always be our babies. But there's a new kid in town, and his name is Frankie.
Give them theirs right now.
Christmas is a time to celebrate the miracle of new life, the joy that comes with it. The birth of Jesus brought hope to the world, and we know your journey towards parenthood is also filled with hope. How did you know this?
I didn't.
There's an old wives' tale says if you wrap a baby blanket and put it under the Christmas tree, you'll have a baby to wrap it in the next tree.
I can't take it.
We prayed over this blanket for you while we wait for God to answer our prayers. Hopefully this blanket will remind you of our love for you both. We're gonna have a 3-month-old baby next Christmas.
When does the baby due?
August.
All right, one more.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so cute. So cute. It's awesome.
That's so perfect.
It's so
Oh my god, it's the best news ever.
I love you.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Clothes. It's so cute.
Everybody's so happy.
I'm about to tell my besties I'm pregnant. Here's the kicker. Exactly 1 year ago, my friend Grace told us she was pregnant. Had a full-on mental breakdown. We posted the video. We're talking about it and we're like, what if we had a 1 year anniversary of you telling us you were pregnant, but this time we'll bring the baby. We're going back to the same Cracker Barrel. I'm wearing the same sweater. They don't know that now I'm pregnant and my due date is literally 2 days away from when her baby was born. So excited. 1 year later from our viral video. Same sweater, exactly 1 year later. This time we have the baby. Only one thing could make this more perfect. What do you think? This time I'm pregnant! Yes, I'm literally shaking. It's real. Cracker Barrel sponsor us.
I have the best friends and family in the world. Anyways, we saw him again at 7 weeks and he was measuring perfectly. We saw his heartbeat. This time we could see his little cord, which was really cool. And yeah, at that point we are trucking along. We're like, we're good. When it was time to go see him again at 8 weeks, we were like, this is in and out. We weren't even remotely worried. I mean, we saw his heartbeat was perfectly strong. He was still measuring great. The IVF clinic dismissed me and said, hey, you're a normal pregnant lady now. You're just gonna go to your regular OBGYN at 11 or 12 weeks. It's a less than 1% chance that anything is gonna happen at this point. So you guys are Gucci. From 8 to 11 weeks, we were in full celebration mode. We bought him some stuff. Our friends and family had bought him some stuff. We started planning his nursery. We booked a photo shoot to announce it. By the way, I knew it was a boy because we chose the embryo. I never mentioned that before, but I'm sure you gathered that. He did have a name. I think you saw in the Christmas video. It is Frankie, and I still love that name so much. Maybe you guys will tell me I'm a weirdo, but if I do have a boy in the future, I still might name him Frankie. I just really like it. I hope that doesn't make me weird. Anyway, so yeah, we were just set, like, we're pregnant. My management had even started reaching out to brands and they had started sending me maternity clothes and things. I was already wearing them because I was already bumping. My stomach was huge. Fast forward to the sad part, trigger warning, it's sad. The night before our 11-week ultrasound, I started spotting, which is so weird because I hadn't yet. Of course, you look that up and it's like completely normal to have a little bit of spotting around 11 weeks. But something just didn't feel right in my gut and I was cramping in a different way that I hadn't been before. And I told Sean I was losing it. I mean, I was bawling, crying in the middle of the night. We called my doctor. They're like, you have an ultrasound tomorrow. Just come in for your appointment. Like, coming in a couple hours sooner isn't gonna do anything. It was weird. It's almost like we knew that there was gonna be bad news because any other ultrasound or appointment that we've gone to, we've practically skipped in the building. We've been holding hands and giggling and so excited. But on this day, for whatever reason, we were very quiet, almost solemn. We barely spoke to each other. And I think both of us were petrified that something was wrong. The ultrasound tech was like, she didn't seem to worry about it whatsoever. She's like, come on, let's get back here and look at that baby. She was great. So I'm like, okay. And she's like, hop up on the table. I'm like, wait, this isn't a vaginal ultrasound? Weird. I wasn't expecting the belly thing. Like, I hadn't had one of those before. And she's like, yeah, just pull up your shirt. Like, let's go and look at your cervix first. It looks perfect. Everything felt positive, but I was still holding my breath. And then she zooms into the baby and, you know, I could see him there. I mean, I could literally see his forehead and little nose and little, like, his profile and his body, but he wasn't moving. And that was scary, and that 5 seconds felt like 5 hours. Everything felt slow motion, and I don't know how these ultrasounds work. I just know I didn't see anything moving in his chest, and all of that was a split second, but it felt like forever. And she just says, I don't see a heartbeat. I don't see a heartbeat, or this baby doesn't have a heartbeat. And Sean and I blacked out. I'll never forget that moment for the day, till the day I die. It was the most traumatic moment of my life. We were in complete shock. Let us have the room to ourselves for a while so that we could just hold each other and cry and try to make sense of things. And I mean, it was bad. it was bad. The midwife came in. She was an actual earth angel sent by God to calm us down. She was so kind, and I can't even remember specifically things that she said. I just remember looking at her and thinking, wow, you are amazing at your job, and you are so sweet for being so empathetic. And, you know, I could tell she was very sad for us and just trying to be understanding, and that goes a long way. We ended up telling our close friends and family. I ended up doing a social media post because I just did not feel right about going about my normal content without letting people know what was going on. And the outpouring of love and support was so overwhelming, and we are so grateful. Our apartment looks like a funeral home right now. We have so many flowers and gifts and cakes and cookies, and oh my gosh, it's insane. During that time, here are the things that were going on in my mind. I'm grieving my baby. I'm scared there's something wrong with me. I'm scared of the future timeline and what that looks like. I'm grieving the timeline and the life I had already created in my mind, because once you get pregnant, you start planning your life, and you're like, okay, we'll do the nursery this month, the baby shower this month, we'll go on this beach trip this month. As you know, I was already taking the nephews on a trip. You know, he'll be 3 months old on Halloween, he'll be 5 months old on Christmas. You start planning your life, and I know you can't do that, but like we did, that's what you do. And also trying to create another fictional timeline in my head, like, okay, well, if I could get pregnant in 6 months from now. And it's like, no, there's so many unknowns. You're also just petrified that like maybe you'll never get pregnant again. Maybe you'll never be able to have a baby. The other thing I was doing, and I know that this is not right, was going back in my mind a few weeks trying to figure out if there's anything that I could have done that would have caused this. Was it that random piece of salami I ate because I forgot you're not supposed to have deli meat? Is it because I flew to Miami, didn't have great circulation, or was dehydrated? Did I work out too hard that one day? Should I not have worked out at all? Did I not drink enough water? You know, was I not eating the right things? So hard, because as someone who is 36 years old who did IVF, I was also doing so many other things. If you know me, you know I've been sober for an entire year before even getting pregnant. I quit caffeine. I quit endocrine disruptors in my house, so I didn't really like candles, not even in the holiday season. I use a fragrance-free, clean body wash, soap, and don't wear perfume. It's like crazy how much I've done. And to think that I maybe didn't do enough is like insane, but I know you can't think that way. And I just got off the phone with my doctor before making this video, and she also was like, at this point, when you're 9, 10, 11 weeks along, there is nothing that you could do besides maybe doing heroin or taking a cyanide pill or going skydiving that could affect your baby. Like, I do feel a lot better hearing that, but I have completely lost my mind. But on the positive, I said this on my social media, I'll say it again. Because I shared my story, I received thousands and thousands of messages from women with successful pregnancies and live births after having done IVF and multiple miscarriages, stillbirths. I've heard some of the most horrendous, traumatic stories you can imagine, and people still came out the other end with multiple babies. So that is what's getting me through right now. It's literally what I do in my spare time. Instead of scrolling my regular content, I just go into my DMs and I just read stories, and it just makes me so happy. What's next for me? I just got off the phone with my doctor. She did say that I could have something called antiphospholipid syndrome. It's very popular. You basically just take a shot called Lovenox when you're pregnant, and that could fix it, but they're gonna do some testing to see if it could be that. It also could have been the fetus. Even though the baby was tested genetically as an embryo, they could have been wrong. And so the baby is being tested right now, and we'll find out in the next week or so if that was the case. It could also be a uterine problem. So I am doing a hysteroscopy to see if I maybe have a septum in my uterus. They didn't see one the last time they looked, but they want to get a closer look just to make sure there's nothing going on with my uterus. Or it could just be a flash in the pan, a fluke. And you know, they said there was a 1% chance, and congrats, you're the 1%. Lucky you. I hate to not have any answers, but I love knowing we have a plan. Keep you updated. I've decided that this time around, I'm not keeping my IVF a secret. I'm not keeping any of it a secret. I may end up being like, hey, we transfer our embryo today. Pray that a baby comes and we're pregnant in 10 days. You know, I may be completely transparent about all of it, because as I thought it would be easier to be private about it, it was actually harder and more isolating, and I didn't like it at all. So I think it would actually be more healing for me to just be out in the open and have like a public diary, so to speak. So yeah, buckle up for that. Thank you for the prayers, and pray that our baby boy comes back to us soon, or girl. Maybe we'll transfer a girl next time. I don't know. I'll keep you updated.